Okay, this is the PES 279 injury video, and the injury I'll be talking today is when I broke my left femur bone. That happened my freshman year of high school, June of 2010. I was playing in my high school baseball game, and I ended up colliding into the center fielder. I was playing in right field. There was a ball hit in the gap between us, and the sun was directly in my eyes, so my first priority was just to get the ball, but I was looking off into, trying to look off onto the sun, and when I caught it, I said to myself, I did not call for it. I look up, and the center field was right there, and we collided. I did pretty much a close to a full flip, and I kind of landed right hard. I ran extremely hard right on my left femur bone. So I remember kind of sitting there, and I tried getting up, and my leg just kind of moved like jello, and I passed out right on the ground. I woke up about 10 minutes later, all my teammates and coaches around me trying to see if I was okay. And obviously, as time passed on, I had to go right to the hospital. On the anatomy of the femur bone, it does consist of three major parts: the proximal, the shaft, and the distal. The proximal, connects the hip joint to your pelvis. The shaft brings the knee closer to the body's center of gravity. It does to also help with stability, and to be exact, I broke the lower half of the shaft, which is right above, which is right here, to be exact. If you can see, it's found on the mouse. And the distal, which helps the knee joint, how the knee joints come together and functions. Now, signs and symptoms of a broken femur. Inability to stand on own, as I said earlier, I completely passed out, and I was very unable to stand on my own. Swelling in the hip area. I know pretty much my whole left side of my lower body, my leg was just completely swollen. I mean, even the bottom half of my leg, I felt like it was just big. My leg was as big as you can possibly think of. I know, and I remember my left thigh bone being the size of like a watermelon because how swollen it was. Bleeding from an open wound if bone breaks through the skin. I am very fortunate. I remember reaching to the hospital, and my doctor told me it was an inch or two away from breaking skin. And honestly, I handled the injury pretty well. But if I would have saw that, I think that would have changed the dynamic of the story for me. Deformed shape of the thigh area. It's just my thigh itself was just, like I said, was just swollen. Again, severe bruising and muscle spasms and numbness. Now that you mention it, I do remember some numbness in my thigh area because I remember I just thought, oh, maybe I just have like a sprained leg or something. And then I remember the paramedics get there and they said, yeah, your leg's not normal. And they told me I broke my femur. I honestly didn't even know what a femur bone was. But after the ambulance picked me up from the field, I had to rush to the hospital and get surgery right away. It's required for this injury. It's not just a normal sprain or anything like that. It's a more serious injury. I didn't realize how serious it was until all the stuff I had to go through. And the surgeon will have to use metal devices to hold the bones in place when the femur heals. And then what they did for me is they place a large nail at first to help stabilize the leg itself, and also they put plates and with screws to help stabilize it, along with the nail in the center of it. And I remember the screws were very uncomfortable. They were giving me discomforts. I remember about a year later, I had them take it out. Recovery time. I know the physical therapy, I had to go through that for the whole summer, unfortunately. The exercises will help regain leg strength, help reduce pain, improve motion, help return to everyday activities. I know I was in a wheelchair for about 2 months of that summer, and I remember being able to walk and go to physical therapy. It was, it was awesome just to do everyday stuff again. And the big thing that stood out to me doing some research, I haven't talked to my doctor at the time, but the length of recovery depends on the type of injury that occurred. I was I just turned 15 at the time when the injury occurred, and only took a few months, and PT took a little bit of time during the fall and winter, but I was back to my normal everyday self, I'd say, about that January or February of the following year. And they said the older you get, the worse it can be. Like I said, my recovery time was only a few months. They said the older you get, it could be a year or two, and you'll be in a wheelchair for a while before you can even start thinking about walking. So I understand it's a very unfortunate situation, but I'm very blessed that it wasn't as severe as I could have been.